Colonizing Mars? Sure, it can't be that hard. We'll build futuristic bases with solar panels and fancy robots doing our work for us. And guess what? The habitats will be full of sick and dying people. Mars will definitely kill us if we try this. Elon Musk got a lot of people to believe that humanity, with the current technology level, could achieve this. While the prospect of living on Mars may sound very interesting, this is actually a very bad idea for a lot of reasons. So I divided this video into 10 parts that explain all the hurdles that await us if we attempt this suicide mission. So we have to talk about the justifications of such a monumental mission, the trip to Mars, the environment, the health risks for the settlers, the resources available on Mars, the technological and financial challenges, the sustainability and environmental impact, the opportunity cost, the political and social implications, and lastly, the one thing that could break the whole mission, even if all the other problems have been solved, the psychological challenges. Okay, first thing, let's talk about the justifications for the colonization of Mars. Mars enthusiasts may argue that one of the justifications for colonizing Mars is scientific exploration. However, robotic missions and remote sensing technology can provide valuable data about Mars without the need for human presence, and the high cost and risk of human missions may not justify the scientific return. Another point they make is about resource utilization, but resources are scarce. Moreover, extracting and processing resources on Mars may not be cost-effective or practical. Another allegedly justification is the economic opportunities. I may argue that the economic benefits of Mars colonization are speculative and uncertain, and that investing in space exploration and colonization may not provide sufficient returns on investment compared to other priorities. Another argument for colonizing Mars used by enthusiasts is planetary backup. So, picture this. We're like, hey, let's drop everything and colonize Mars. Meanwhile, Earth's over here like, guys, I've got some serious issues too, you know? Like, have you seen my climate lately? It's hotter than a jalapeno in a sauna. And poverty's like, hey, remember me? I've been here the whole time, just chillin'. But seriously, maybe we should sort out our earthly mess before we start packing for the red planet. Just a thought. And about the planetary backup plan. For whom, you ask? Certainly not for us regular folks, right? It's like trying to crash a VIP party where only the elite have the golden ticket. Picture it. While we're down here worrying about paying bills and binge-watching Netflix, the ruling class and elites are up there sipping space cocktails and playing zero-gravity golf. It's like they're building their own exclusive gated community in space. So in case of an impending global disaster, the ultra-rich will be the ones who will escape or at least try to escape to Mars. Now let's discuss the trip to Mars. At its closest, Mars is 54 million kilometers or about 34 million miles away. However, a spacecraft traveling to Mars would have to travel way more than that because Mars and Earth revolve around the Sun at different speeds. Therefore, the actual distance needed to be traveled is about 230 million kilometers, or approximately 140 million miles. That's 600 times farther than the distance to the Moon. And launches should occur within specific launch windows, which recur every 26 months and last for about 30 days. The trip itself will take around 8 or 9 months. So, what happens if a supply mission from Earth fails for various reasons? The next opportunity for resupply could be more than 2 years away, leaving the people on Mars in a dire and potentially deadly situation. Even if they somehow manage to survive that long without the needed supplies, what if the next opportunity also fails? Additionally, cosmic radiation and the absence of gravity during the 8 to 9 months of space travel will cause massive health problems. The human body is simply not designed for extended space travel. While we could theoretically solve the gravity problem by building a rotating ring spacecraft and the radiation problem by using lead for the walls of the spacecraft, the fact is that lead and everything else is heavy, and without a space elevator or some other futuristic propulsion system, we cannot transport that much material into space. Furthermore, these solutions would be extremely expensive and pose significant engineering challenges. Frankly, it's a bit beyond our current technological capabilities. Another problem is the harsh environment of Mars. Upon landing on Mars, the radiation and gravity problems wouldn't go away. Mars has a very thin atmosphere, about 1% the density of Earth's, composed mostly of carbon dioxide. It also lacks a proper electromagnetic field, offering minimal protection from harmful cosmic radiation and solar flares. Additionally, the lack of a substantial atmosphere means there's no protection against micrometeoroids, which regularly bombard the planet's surface. The weather on Mars isn't great either. With its freezing temperatures, it's like the cosmic equivalent of that one friend who never turns on the heating in winter. You'll need more than just a cozy sweater to survive there. The average temperature on Mars is significantly colder than on Earth, around -63 degrees Celsius or -81 degrees Fahrenheit, with temperatures dropping as low as -125 degrees Celsius or -195 degrees Fahrenheit at the poles during winter. And let's not forget about that pesky Martian dust. It's like the glitter of the red planet, but way harder to clean up. It poses significant challenges for robotic and human exploration of the planet, coating solar panels, reducing their efficiency, and infiltrating mechanical components, causing wear and tear on equipment. Dust mitigation strategies are essential for the design of spacecraft and habitats for future Mars missions. Probably one of the biggest problems would be the health risks for the colonizers. Living on Mars might turn us into real-life space cowboys, but it also comes with its share of health hazards. From bone loss to radiation exposure, it's like signing up for an extreme sport with no safety net. Mars is not for the faint of heart. Living in the reduced gravity of Mars for extended periods could indeed pose significant challenges to human health. The lower gravity on Mars, approximately 38% of Earth's gravity, could lead to muscle and bone loss, as the body experiences less mechanical stress than it does on Earth. Without the constant load-bearing activity provided by Earth's gravity, astronauts could experience muscle atrophy and bone demineralization, increasing the risk of fractures and osteoporosis. Furthermore, prolonged exposure to reduced gravity could affect cardiovascular health, as the heart may weaken due to the reduced workload in pumping blood against gravity. This could lead to cardiovascular problems such as orthostatic intolerance and decreased exercise capacity. Additionally, living on Mars exposes astronauts to cosmic radiation and other space hazards, which could increase the risk of cancer and other radiation-related illnesses. While shielding technologies and habitat design can provide some protection, astronauts are still vulnerable to the effects of cosmic radiation, which can damage DNA and increase the risk of developing cancer over time. Countermeasures such as regular exercise, dietary supplements, and advanced medical monitoring systems can help mitigate some of these risks. However, the long-term health effects of living on Mars are not fully understood, and further research is needed to ensure the health and well-being of future Martian colonists. If a Mars colonist were to visit Earth after a long stay on Mars, they would likely experience a period of readjustment known as gravity adaptation syndrome. Their body would need to reacclimate to Earth's higher gravity, which could cause symptoms such as dizziness, muscle weakness, and decreased bone density. This readjustment period could last for weeks or even months, depending on the duration of their stay on Mars. If a person were born on Mars and later visited Earth, they would face similar challenges in adapting to Earth's higher gravity, compounded by the fact that their bodies would have developed and grown in the lower Martian gravity environment. Their musculoskeletal system may not be adequately prepared to handle the increased gravitational forces on Earth, potentially leading to difficulties in movement and physical activity. Pregnancy on Mars would also present unique challenges due to the effects of reduced gravity on maternal health and fetal development. Studies suggest that reduced gravity could impact cardiovascular function, fluid distribution, and bone metabolism in pregnant women, potentially increasing the risk of complications such as preeclampsia and fetal growth restriction. Additionally, the long-term effects of gestating and raising a child in the Martian environment are not fully understood, raising questions about the feasibility and safety of reproduction on Mars. Another thing we need to consider is the limited resources on Mars. Mars lacks many of the essential resources such as breathable air, water, warmth, basic things needed to sustain human life. And good luck finding any decent soil for growing potatoes without a buttload of fertilizer. While there is evidence of water ice on Mars, accessing and extracting it would require advanced technology and significant energy expenditure. Transporting resources from Earth to Mars would be costly and logistically complex, especially considering the vast distances involved and the limitation on how much material we can lift off the ground with our flimsy rockets. Another issue is the technological and financial challenges. Considering the limited resources on Mars, we will have to bring a lot of stuff to Mars. And that is crazy expensive. For example, SpaceX Falcon 9 is one of the most cost-effective options for launching payloads into space. The cost can be around $2,620 per kilogram or $1,233 per pound. The Falcon 9 rocket has a maximum payload capacity to low Earth orbit of approximately 22,800 kilograms or 50,300 pounds, which adds up to $62 million, just for low Earth orbit. For missions to higher orbits, such as geostationary transfer orbit, the payload capacity is reduced due to the energy required to reach those orbits. Another example is NASA's Space Launch System, SLS, which is a heavy-lift launch vehicle designed for deep space missions. The SLS is still under development, and its specifications are subject to change as the program progresses. The cost per kilogram for SLS missions can be significantly higher, possibly around $20,000 to $30,000 or more. The Block 1 configuration of the SLS is designed to have a significant payload capacity, especially for deep space missions, such as those to the Moon or Mars. The payload capacity will vary depending on factors such as the specific trajectory and mission requirements. For deep space missions, the Block 1 configuration of the SLS is expected to have a payload capacity of approximately 26 metric tons or 57,000 pounds for translunar injection, sending payloads to the vicinity of the Moon. For sending payloads to low Earth orbit, NASA plans to use the more powerful Block 1B and Block 2 configurations of the SLS for more ambitious deep space missions. These configurations are expected to have even higher payload capacities, potentially exceeding 45 metric tons or 99,000 pounds for missions to translunar injection. However, these payload capacities are small, considering that we will need to transport a lot of materials to build a colony on Mars. So basically, every transport of goods will cost a few $100 million. Colonizing Mars would require the development of advanced technologies for transportation, life support systems, habitat construction, and resource utilization, all tailored to withstand the harsh and unforgiving Martian environment. Achieving self-sufficiency on Mars would necessitate the establishment of infrastructure for energy production, waste management, and food production, leveraging innovative solutions adapted for the planet's unique conditions. However, all of these are things we are not capable of yet. For the moment, mankind has enough technological development to reach Mars and slowly die. Moreover, the inherent time delay in communications between Earth and Mars, ranging from 3 to 22 minutes one way depending on the positions of the planets in their orbits, poses a significant challenge. This delay complicates real-time decision-making and necessitates the development of autonomous systems capable of operating with minimal human intervention. The financial costs associated with such endeavors would be astronomical, with estimates ranging into the hundreds of billions or even trillions of dollars. Securing funding stability over the long term is crucial for sustaining momentum and continuity in Mars exploration efforts. This requires navigating shifting political landscapes, attracting private investment, and demonstrating the potential return on investment in terms of scientific discoveries, technological advancements, and potential economic opportunities, both on Earth and in space. Colonizing Mars would also involve sustainability and environmental impact issues. Call me crazy, but I don't think Mother Nature would appreciate us turning her red planet into a giant trash heap. Let's not forget to pack our eco-friendly habits along with our spacesuits when we head to Mars. Ensuring the long-term sustainability of a Martian colony would require careful management of resources and waste, as well as minimizing the environmental impact of human activities on the planet. However, the industrial processes and energy-intensive technologies necessary for sustaining human life on Mars could contribute to pollution and environmental degradation, further altering the Martian environment. Balancing the needs of the colonists with the preservation of Mars' unique ecosystems, if any, would be a significant challenge. Opportunity cost is another issue we need to consider. Sure, let's spend trillions of dollars colonizing Mars instead of, solving world hunger or curing diseases. Because who needs those pesky earthly problems when we can have a Martian playground, right? While the idea of colonizing Mars captures the imagination and pushes the boundaries of human achievement, it's essential to consider the opportunity cost involved. Investing resources in Mars colonization diverts attention and funding away from addressing pressing issues here on Earth, such as poverty, inequality, climate change, and environmental degradation. The same technological and financial resources that could propel us to Mars could also be allocated to improving conditions on our own planet, making it more sustainable and habitable for future generations. Imagine if we directed the billions or even trillions of dollars earmarked for Mars missions towards solving issues like access to clean water, renewable energy development, and combating infectious diseases. We could make significant strides in alleviating human suffering and creating a more equitable world. Furthermore, prioritizing Mars colonization over addressing these urgent challenges could exacerbate existing disparities and inequalities. As resources are funneled into space exploration, marginalized communities may continue to face neglect and lack of access to basic necessities. It raises ethical questions about the distribution of resources and whether the pursuit of cosmic ambitions should take precedence over addressing immediate human needs. So, before we go all Martian McMansion, let's remember that Earth is our cosmic crib, and it could use a little TLC. After all, investing in Earth's future means we can keep enjoying those amazing sunsets and not worry about whether our next-door neighbor is a friendly alien or just a cranky rock formation. Political and social implications are probably one of the smallest problems colonizers will face, assuming humanity has overcome all the other problems. Who gets to be mayor of Mars anyway? And what happens when the first Martian election ends in a tie? Talk about interplanetary politics. We'll need more than just a catchy campaign slogan to navigate those waters. The colonization of Mars would raise political and social questions about governance, sovereignty, and the rights of colonists. Who would have authority over a Martian colony, and how would decisions be made about its governance and administration? What rights and protections would be afforded to colonists, and how would disputes be resolved in a remote and isolated environment? Addressing these questions would require careful consideration and international cooperation to ensure the fair and equitable treatment of all parties involved. Psychological challenges may be the problem that breaks the entire endeavor of colonizing Mars. Living in what might feel like a Martian tiny home for ages could turn even the most stoic astronaut into a spacefaring comedian. Picture it: cramped quarters, limited Wi-Fi, if any, and the constant hum of recycled air. Forget stand-up comedy, we've got sit-down solidarity. But seriously, folks, the struggles are real. Imagine trying to FaceTime your bestie back on Earth with a 22-minute delay. By the time they reply, you've already reenacted The Martian with your pet rock, Marvin. And let's not forget the joys of Martian monsoon season, dust storms that make your Netflix buffer for hours. Living on Mars for a long time is tough mentally. Being far away and stuck in a small space can make you feel really lonely. It's hard to stay in touch with people back home, which makes things even tougher. Plus, life on Mars can get pretty boring since there's not much variety or excitement. This can make you feel like you're stuck in a rut and mess with your mood. The stress of being so far from home and worrying about safety and the mission's success adds to the pressure. Living with the same people in a small space can also lead to arguments and tension. To help with all this, it's important to have good support systems in place. Things like ways to bond with others, talk openly about feelings, and have fun activities can really help. And having professionals to talk to when things get rough is super important too. And what happens when two or more people argue or fight, and there's someone who doesn't want to continue their job and wishes to go home? They can't just leave. They're millions of miles away from home. Or what happens when someone constantly breaks the rules or even kills another person? What then? Put them in prison? They'd have to build one first, and it would be a significant waste of resources and money to keep individuals inside the colony who don't contribute to the well-being of the community. Additionally, they would need to allocate people who will be responsible for the security of the prison, individuals who will not be able to do other more important tasks. All of this will cost a ton of money. In the USA, it costs between $20,000 and $60,000 per year to keep a prisoner in prison. Imagine what the cost would be on Mars. While it's challenging to provide an exact figure, considering the complexities and uncertainties involved, a rough estimate for the cost of keeping a person in jail on Mars could range from hundreds of millions to billions of dollars per year per prisoner. This estimate takes into account the substantial expenses associated with infrastructure development, logistics, personnel, and technology required for sustaining life and ensuring security in the Martian environment. So ultimately, the idea of colonizing Mars is a dumb idea at our current level of technological development. While the idea of colonizing Mars captures the imagination and offers the potential for scientific discovery and exploration, it also presents numerous challenges and drawbacks. Maybe in the far future, humanity will have the capacity to make this a reality, but for now, I don't think so. Or am I being too pessimistic? Would you sign up for something like this? Feel free to leave your opinion in the comments section. So, thanks for watching, and I hope that whether you're a space enthusiast or a skeptic, this video sparked some engaging conversations. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps me stay motivated and create more and better videos in the future. And also, maybe subscribe for more similar content. Until next time, keep dreaming big and exploring new horizons. See you in the next video.